Good afternoon, everybody. It is going to be an extremely short stream tonight, probably about 1 hour. We are going to be talking about the Federal Reserve. We heard from Fed Chair Jerome Powell tonight, or earlier today, about asset purchases. So we are going to be talking about that and more on tonight's stream. We are back in Florida. But we will be back in New York in a couple weeks. Amir is here. Paul Greenwell says hi, Tom. What's up, Amir? What's up, Paul? Hope everybody's well tonight. It's going to be a very short stream. Hunter Butler is here. Says, hey, Tom. Hope you're well, Hunter. Hope you had a good day. Jamie says, Miami. What is going on? Maya's here. Santa Monica Rodriguez. What is up, Santa Monica Rodriguez? I'll show you guys some of the buildings here. Very cool, unique apartment buildings here in Sunny Isles Beach, Florida. So we are back in Southern Florida tonight. Vinny Castellano says, hey, Tom. Sunshine after rain. Says hi. What is up, Swing Boxes? I see everybody in here. It's a very windy night. Very, very windy. So excuse the noise. Lady O says, oh, looks warm there. It's freezing here in New Jersey. Lady O, how cold is it in New Jersey now? Solo 401 says, hello. What is up, Solo 401? Swing Boxes, Vinny Castellano. Jamie, Brittany McMurdy. Good to see you, Brittany McMurdy, and Dante Rose. Maya says, Florida, I want to go there. Yes, so this is Sunny Isles Beach, Florida. Very nice here, very nice weather. But we're only going to be walking around for about an hour. I got a lot of stuff to do tonight, but I thought I'd jump on the stream to see everybody. Sally says, what is going on? Lady Orleans, or Lady O, says 42 degrees, and later tonight it'll be in the 30s in New Jersey. Yikes. But you know what, Lady O, it's actually you back in Miami. Hello from cold Toronto. Hey, Mark Davis, always good to see you. Mark Davis is our medical marijuana expert in the chat. Miss Mo says, hi, Tom. What's up, Miss Mo? Eddie says, oh, from Miami today. Yes, Eddie, we are in Miami, or Sunny Isles Beach to be more specific. Sally says, beautiful night, Tom. Josie is here. Zap Allen. How are you, Zap Allen? Good to see you. Amir, good to see you. Service says, hey, Tom, love your work. Thank you. Right back at you. Solo 401 is here. Hey, Cynthia Martinez, what's going on? Hope you're well. Back in the good old Miami. This is Sunny Isles Beach, Florida. Shadow King says, Florida is so beautiful. Destruction says, happy hump day. It's 30 degrees or 3 degrees Celsius or 37.5 degrees here in Paradise in Canada. What is going on? So this is one of my favorite buildings here. Actually, no, not this one, but this one also looks kind of cool. GTSY as well today, Tom, says Amir. Kyle says, hi from El Paso, Texas. El Paso, Texas, very cool. So everybody, we did hear from the Federal Reserve today, and they were talking about tapering or taper talk. So we heard from Fed Chair Jerome Powell. But I think a lot of the messaging was a little bit convoluted, and I don't think a lot of people really truly understand what transpired today. So we'll talk a little bit about that on the stream, but essentially nothing has really changed in my eyes. And what we need to pay attention to, especially, is when you think about tapering, right? Essentially, Fed Chair Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve is buying about $100 billion in treasuries every month. $100 billion in treasuries every single month. But also, they're buying about $40 billion in mortgage-backed securities. So today, we had Fed Chair Jerome Powell come about and say that he is going to lower the amount or the minimum asset purchases amount. Right, so technically they are tapering, but if you really think about it, the taper is really not anything to be too concerned about, because essentially these are minimum amounts. And I don't think a lot of people realize that they just think, oh, Fed Chair Jerome Powell said instead of purchasing $140 billion, they're going to knock it down to 120. right? But these are minimum amounts, and oftentimes they even purchase more than what they project. So if you noticed, right after Fed Chair Jerome Powell finished speaking, the markets rallied to new all-time record highs. As I've outlined in the newsletters, I continue to see this equity rally last for quite some time because the easy money is not going to stop. It's going to continue. So we'll do a little bit of a deep dive into that. Disney cast member is here. Says hello, everybody. Good to see you, Disney cast member. We are back in Florida, in Sunny Isles, or Sunny Isles Beach, Florida. Amir says people still flip-flopping in Miami. Maya says it's cold in New York. I think it was about 45, maybe 50 degrees when I was back in New York a couple days ago. Eddie says the black building is interesting. Yes, all of these buildings are amazing here. Hey, Rhino305 says hello. Sunny Isles Skate Bro, welcome back to the 305. Thank you, Rhino305. Soho Guy says thanks for going live. Tom, no problem, Soho. Good to see you. Good to see you. Sunshine after rain. How is everybody? Paul Greenwell says, Tom, my kitten is a girl, and her name is Lexi. Very cool, Paul. Congrats on the new cat. Awesome, Paul. Fantastic. Shadow King says the S&P went up. Yes. So the market was actually down for the majority of the day. And I think one of the reasons for that is because the market wanted to see what was going to come out of Fed Chair Jerome Powell's mouth. And I think without saying it, Jerome Powell sort of said it and telegraphed it to the market that the easy money is going to continue. The show is going to go on. I don't personally agree with that. I think easy money, buying mortgage-backed securities, buying treasuries, artificially low interest rates, does nothing but exacerbate the wealth divide we have in the country. But in the investment business, we have to go along with the trend. So I think the show is going to go on. Santa Monica Rodriguez is so happy to see you streaming tonight. Honestly, missed you in the chat last night. Awesome, Santa Monica Rodriguez. I missed you guys as well. So these balconies are so cool. I really want to do a stream during the sunset because the sky, in contrast with the apartment buildings, looks absolutely amazing. Mark Davis says, what is the cost of living like in Miami as opposed to New York City, Tom? So Mark, that's actually a great question. That's a great question because contrary to what a lot of people believe, Miami and New York have a very, very similar cost of living. It's actually extremely high. The only good thing about living in Florida is we don't have any state income tax here. So in New York, we do have a state income tax. However, in Florida, there is no state income tax. RL says, welcome back to Florida. Does anybody know what kind of car this is? I think this is, what is that? It's something. I forget the name. I'm not a big car guy. But RL says, welcome back to Florida. Thank you so much, RL. Lupe is here. What is up, Lupe from Oklahoma? Roy says, hi, Tom. Nice to see you. Hi to all the mods. Eddie says the black wave building is more special. I agree. Jeff says it's a Bentley, I think. I think so, too. Everclear 1102 says, hey Tom, how do we find the true inflation rate, not the CPI 5.2% one? Isn't it much higher than that? Yeah, so I speculate it's actually probably double that. And my reasoning behind that is because the CPI, it is the quote unquote real number, but over time they've taken many things or many variables out of the CPI number, right? So when we think about the cost of living, when we think about different products and services, the cost of the CPI or inflation rate is actually probably double that. So what I like to think about is the CPI is the number that they allow us to see in relation to the reality. So if the Federal Reserve and the big oligarchs are only allowing us to see a 5.2% number, well, then you could bet that the real number is probably about 10%, which makes sense. And I was actually watching a little bit of a clip on CNBC where Paul Tudor Jones was actually speculating the inflation rate is around 9%. 9%. Lupe, good to see you. It's a windy day today, everybody. I apologize. RL says Powell behind us. Amir says Bentley. Marty Lewis says good evening, Tom and everyone. Glad to see you. Glad to see you too, Marty Lewis. Welcome to Florida. Jamie says I love Miami. Went there 3 years in a row. It's beautiful down here. It's really, really beautiful. It's a nice break from being in New York all the time, and especially now that the weather is getting colder. So we're going to be walking only for about an hour today, everybody. But Jamie, good to see you. Jeff, good to see you. Boy S is in the chat. But Everclear, that's a good question. That's a good question. Lena Sandoval is here. What's up, Lena Sandoval? So Everclear, did you watch the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell speak today? Because it was very, very interesting to see how the markets reacted today. We were actually down. The S&P was down, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down, and even the NASDAQ was down. But after we heard from the Federal Reserve, and the only really thing that they said, right? So all the headlines tomorrow in the paper, they're going to say the Federal Reserve is going to start to taper. But really, if you listen to the report, all he said was we're just going to lower the amount of the minimum amount of assets we purchase per month, right? We have to remember that these are minimums. So oftentimes the Federal Reserve purchases even more than 140 billion. That's now lowered to 120. But you know, the show's going to go on, and the most key piece of information that was said during that hearing was Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said we're not in any rush to raise interest rates. I mean, if you're not in any rush to raise interest rates when we have about almost a 6% inflationary print on the CPI, I mean, I don't know when you would raise interest rates. So once Fed Chair Jerome Powell said that, the markets were off to the races. We closed at new all-time record highs. RL says snow is in the forecast for Western New York. Yikes, not looking forward to that. Although the snow does look nice every now and then. The snow does look nice every now and then in New York, but I'd much rather have it warm. RJ says, Olaf from Colorado, Tom, hope you had a good flight and you were doing okay. Thank you so much, RJ. Everclear says, no, is it on YouTube? So I was watching it on my Charles Schwab account. I get a free subscription to CNBC during market hours. So I was just watching CNBC a little bit, but I usually have it on in the background, but very rarely do I actually watch the entire thing. But if you probably look it up on YouTube, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell, you could probably see some clips on CNBC, Everclear. Everclear says, did you hear about the $1 trillion platinum coin to pay off the national debt? So I did hear about that. I'm not sure if that's actually going to be put into place, but we'll see. I mean, it just seems like they're printing money like it's monopoly money. Sort of reminds me of Weimar Germany. Turkle says, according to the government's own data, the 3 prior years that they back-tested their new methodology in 1982 reported CPI measurements were 2.1% lower than the old methodology, said Turkle. That's a very cool piece of information. Let me actually screenshot that. I really appreciate you posting that, Turkle. I hope you're well. Hey, super friends in the city, Fernando is here. What's up, Fernando? We're back in Miami. Good to see you. Hope you're well, super friends, and the city. RL says we can't see the Empire State Building tonight. Maybe we'll take a walk up to the Empire State Building. Jeff says, good book for investing in economics. Oh, so that brings me to my next point. Guys, I just got this book. I read it when I was in high school, but one of my good buddies just resent it to me. This is what it's called. It's called The Clash of the Cultures by John C. Bogle. The Clash of the Cultures by John Bogle. Very good book. I've read it twice now, but it's always good refreshers. So if anybody was looking for a very, very good book on finance, and it goes into the history of economics and what has spurred the speculation on Wall Street. Very good book. Check it out. Eddie says, what do you think about the end of the Merkel era? I mean, I think it's going to be the same old, and we could go into that ad nauseum But I mean, my take is that easy money around the world is not going to stop. It's not just at the Federal Reserve. You know, you have the Bank of Japan, you have, you know, the European Central Bank. It's not just here at the Federal Reserve of the United States. We're printing on a massive scale globally. It's central banks all around the world. CB Earth Day, how are you? Good to see you. We have to take a little bit of a detour here. Hey, Soho guys here. Donna Fernandez, how are you? The Austin Tennis says, hey Tom, hope your flight to Florida was smooth. It was very, very smooth. I got here no problem. I got here with no problem tonight. Or I actually arrived yesterday. I actually arrived here yesterday. I see Terry Docker says, hey Tom, Bogle was founder of the Vanguard funds. Yes, he was. So Jack Bogle was the former CEO and founder of the Vanguard Group. And this book is very interesting because he outlines that he believes Wall Street has actually shifted more towards rampant speculation as opposed to what Wall Street is really supposed to be about. And what Wall Street is really supposed to be about is capital creation and raising capital for businesses to bring them public so they can make better so they can make better products and services for customers. But only about 1% of the actual activity on Wall Street goes into the raising of capital in the capital markets for companies to bring them about public. 99% of the actual activity that goes on Wall Street is all speculation. So the book is very, very interesting. I would definitely check it out. I'm reading it again for the third time. It's always a very good read, very easy read, and it gives you a pretty good history of the financial markets. So I would definitely check that out. Amir says the white convertible is also a Bentley, says Amir. Gene says Wall Street Skate Bro. Hello Tom, does it feel nice weather-wise? It does feel nice weather-wise. Very, very nice here. Gene, I hope you're well. DW says 2 Fed rate hikes next year. Yeah, so DW, that is what they're saying, but I'm under the impression that I pay attention more so what the Federal Reserve actually does as opposed to what they're saying, right? Because if you remember correctly, you know, even after two months after the Federal Reserve pretty much lowered interest rates to nothing, they've been saying we're going to raise rates, we're going to raise rates, we're going to raise rates. A year later, still nothing. So I think it's more important to pay attention to actually what they're doing as opposed to what they're virtue signaling to us. Osama says, can you recommend some books about trading stocks? So one book that is more tailored towards like swing trading and growth stock trading would probably be How to Make Money in Stocks by William J. O'Neill. And William J. O'Neill, we talk about him a lot on the channel. William J. O'Neill is the founder of Investors Business Daily. So you think about the newspaper IBD. And Investors Business Daily actually just sold. They just sold to the News Corporation. And News Corp owns Wall Street Journal, they own Fox News, they own Barron's, and now they just made the acquisition of Investors Business Daily from O'Neill Securities. The Mighty Bull says, hello Tom, watching and reading. What's going on, Mighty Bull? Happy Wednesday, everybody. Can you believe how fast this week is flying by already? It's already Wednesday, crazy. Hey, Ken Kramer's here. What's up, Ken? Ken Kramer says what they say and what they do are two different things. Dow 40,000 incoming. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. And I think we also have a viewer here that goes by the name Me. And he always brings a very interesting perspective. And I always love having him on here because he always brings about, you know, that the equities prices are distorted. They're not based in reality. They're trading at ridiculous multiples. And I think he's so right. He's so spot on. However, I think what we have to understand is that if you're a money manager, you have to deal with the environment that you're given. And in a world of artificially low interest rates, with the Federal Reserve buying treasuries and buying mortgage-backed securities, you know, there's so much liquidity floating around in this market. And so long as tech companies continue to beat and exceed their earnings expectations, You know, I think these stocks can trade at significant multiples for extremely long periods of time. Amir, what is going on, Amir? Gene says, Nightbot, can you do a kickflip? Roy, how are you, Roy? The Mighty Bull says, more inflation means your money is worth less in the bank. Indeed, the Mighty Bull. Hey, Anonymous Dude, what is going on, Anonymous Dude? Peter says, QQQVOO to the moon. Yeah, so QQQ tracks the NASDAQ 100 and VOO is the Vanguard ETF that tracks the S&P 500. And look, you know, I think we've come out of this correction, right? So we were in a little bit of a correction. The S&P was down about 6%, and we've actually just come up and ripped to all-time new record highs. So we're a little bit extended over the 50-day moving average on the main indices. So we'll see. I mean, I don't expect any sort of major crash as everybody talks about. You know, today we ripped through new all-time record highs, like I said. Was going to happen before because it's all about the Federal Reserve. So should we have normal corrections, I think that's to be expected and normal, but I don't think we're going to have some imminent crash. I mean, if I show you guys some of the emails I get to my email box, it's everybody just saying, you know, you got to pull your money out of the market, we're going to have a crash. And I mean, I've been getting these emails for 6 months, and I agree with these people. But where we disagree is that they underestimate just how long the Federal Reserve can keep these balls in the air and the equity market supported. Hey, Bowser is here. What's up, Bowser? Estelle is here. What's up, Estelle? EBITDA is here. What is up, EBITDA? EBITDA, we made it back to Miami. We are in Sunny Isles Beach, Florida. I'll show you some of the crazy apartment buildings here. Just wild. These apartments must have epic views of the ocean. Mark Davis says, hi, Tom. How's Skates doing? He's doing pretty good. I gave him some water today. That is my cat. LM Plays says, hi, I'm from Brazil. What is up, everybody from Brazil? Ken Kramer says, AMD is on a big run. Irevis says, hi, Tom and everybody. What's up, Irevis? Good to see you. The Swan. What's up, The Swan? Hope you're well. The Swan is our pal from Ireland. Bowser, good to see you. The Mighty Bull says, another episode of the USA Titanic. Chuck Christian says, how's the weather here? So the weather in Sunny Isles Beach, Florida is actually quite moderate tonight. It's probably about 72, 73-ish degrees. Kelwin says, hello, Tom. EBITDA says, I agree. I think we will have a needed correction, 5 to 12%, but not another crash. Miami is looking good, but missed that New York City skyline. Don't we all? EBITDA, I think I definitely do agree with you. However, it was such a beautiful day today, and tomorrow I will be downtown Miami in the Brickell. I actually have a meeting with a new, not customer, but with a new prospect tomorrow, so that should be fun. Anonymous Dude says, I thought you were in New York City, but then I saw the palm trees. Hilarious. Hey, Jack D says, Tom, what do you think of Timothy Sykes' teachings? I know who he is only because I get spammed by his YouTube advertisements. Look, I don't, me and him couldn't be more polar opposites. Let's just put it that way. I don't want to say anything negative, but I think he's a charlatan. But I'm not going to go more past that. Bowser says, Tom, what food would you recommend me if I were to go to Miami? Anything Cuban. So there's a ton of good Cuban restaurants here. Phenomenal Cuban food. But anything, look, I mean, I don't want to be negative. You guys know I'm a very positive guy, but anybody who is, you know, you see like that says you can make $500 a day trading penny stocks from the beach, you know, in my opinion, I think they're charlatans. I don't want to have anything to do with them. That's just my 2 cents. I can't tell you really anything, but that's just my personal opinions. But then again, you know, for legalese, I can't really go after the guy and say too much, but I personally would never be associated with that type of activity. That's just my opinion. I won't say any more. Bowser says, you are very positive, Tom. You make live streams so cool and awesome. Thank you, Bowser. Appreciate that. Hey, Asia Unscripted says, can you show us the Golden Girls house? I'm not sure where that is. I'm not sure where the Golden Girls house is. RL says the best pizza is in Florida. Not. I've yet to find a good pizza spot in Florida, honestly. Irevis says, does Skates sleep indoors? I only see Skates in the early morning. Irevis, and then he runs away and just, I think he's like sort of a stray cat, but I definitely do leave water and food out when I can for the cat. But Asia Unscripted, how are you? Disney cast member says, yeah, he was cute, but even better, he could sing. Wow. But Jack D, yeah, that is my opinion on that gentleman. We just have very different styles. I would never buy any sort of company that is not earning money, that doesn't have any earnings. And the stocks that he tends to buy or shill are penny stocks. So they're, I think he's, allegedly speaking, I think he runs a lot of pump and dump type schemes. Omar says, could you show us any Golden Corral restaurants? I'm not sure I've ever seen one here. Anonymous dude says, I love palm trees. Are you going to stay? Are you going to the beach during your stay? Yeah, I mean, technically we are at the beach now. I mean, the beach, the ocean's literally right there. But yeah, I'll be here for sure. Jack D says, I think Tim Sykes might front run the stocks he pushes. This is Jack D. Yeah, I mean, I would just not even pay attention to him. That's just my 2 cents. Tori Day in New York says, are you considering becoming a Miami Dolphins fan? Fins up. Maybe. I'm not a big football guy, but, you know, if I had to, you know, watch some football down here, I definitely would root for the Miami Dolphins, for sure. Eddie says, so much curved houses, very different from New York. Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're overbuilding almost here in Sunny Isles Beach, these massive apartment complexes. They look beautiful, though. Hey, JK says, hey, Tom, good evening. The Mighty Bull says, Tom, where are your skates? I don't have them tonight. I'm probably not going to have them for about another week. It's very difficult with the move. Chuck says, I wish it was 70 degrees here, but it's cold here, says Chuck. Yeah, the weather is definitely a lot better in Florida during this time of year as opposed to the Northeast. Bowser says, did you find that Miami is busy, Tom? Miami is extremely busy. Roy says, maybe Skates can also do the live stream. JK says, futures are green tonight. Yeah, JK, so we were talking about the Fed. It was Fed Day today. We heard from Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, and everybody was all worked up over the taper talk. But if we really, really understand what went on today at the Fed, the only thing that changed is the minimum amount of the asset purchases, right? So the previous minimum was $140 billion, $100 billion coming from U.S. Treasuries that the Federal Reserve buys, the other $40 billion coming from mortgage-backed securities. The only thing that happened today was the Federal Reserve just lowered the amount of the minimum to $120 billion. So it's really like they didn't even taper, in my eyes. And they're kicking the can down the road even further and not raising rates. EBITDA says, please stay away from Tim Sykes. He literally got a position, uses his cronies to pump it, and then exits while they are stuck in the position. You are better off just investing in an index fund. Yes. So EBITDA, that's essentially what I wanted to say, but it's coming from you, not me, just in case he sees this and tries to throw a lawsuit at me or something. But yes, I would not get involved in any of that stuff. Like, look, I mean, you have to, if you, like, guys, investing is not about trying to make $500 a day. Okay, that's not the goal. The goal is to compound out your wealth over time, right? If you look at the most successful people on Wall Street, like a Paul Tudor Jones, a Stanley Druckenmiller, you know, a Peter Lynch. Do you see these guys running YouTube advertisements, you know, promoting illiquid penny stocks? No, like, these people are real, they have real jobs. on Wall Street, and they're investing the proper way by investing their money in solid fundamental companies with earnings and sales growth, not, you know, trying to scrape $500 off of some penny stock. It's not real. It's all fugazi. But that's just my 2 cents. But you know, everything that EBITDA says I agree with, but allegedly, so we don't get the old lawsuit. Jack D says Tim Sykes' hedge fund went bankrupt. Hey, Sunnyside is here. Says if it sounds too good, it probably is. Sincerely, Tim Sykes. Bowser, what's going on? Roy S says, Tom, how often do you find the Fed doing something that is not in line with their published policies? Well, what a lot of people don't know, Roy, is that the Federal Reserve actually also has a trading desk. You're not supposed to know that. The Federal Reserve has a balance sheet that you do see, and they also have a balance sheet that you don't see. But that'll be a different topic for a different stream. But I mean, at the end of the day, the market wanted to know. It's almost like this market is addicted to heroin, right? The heroin addict always wants to get his fix. So the market was down the majority of the day. However, when Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell was speaking and essentially told the market, hey, everybody, the easy money is going to continue to roll out. It's going to continue to flow. This market turned around on a dime and ripped to new all-time record highs. New all-time highs for the Dow Jones. New all-time highs for the S&P and the NASDAQ. So stocks went gangbusters into the close due to, in part, that I believe is the addiction to easy money we have. Hey, JK, good to see you. Jack D says the Fed artificially inflates the market a lot. I agree. JK says Fed Day was good to me at the end. Kevin Sunderland says investing to me has always been a choice between building future wealth or immediate gratification. Very well put, Kevin. Very well put. Very cool. Murky says, did you see Zillow getting crushed? Yeah, so Zillow, they were involved in rampant speculation in the housing market. I think they severely underestimated what they could do in their profit margins on flipping houses. So Zillow is probably going to take a $500 million write-down on over 7,000 homes that they bought. Hey, Vern says, good evening, Tom. What's up, Vern? Good to see you. Chuck says, man, I wish I was down there right now. Come down, Chuck, anytime. Obama says, did anyone get in Car Avis? I did not. Murky, good to see you. Good to see you. RL says, crazy short squeeze on Avis yesterday. Murky says, how's it going? Welcome back, Tom. Thank you, Murky. Appreciate it. Fred T says, did you hear about Zillow's home shutting down the flipping business? I did hear about that. And I think that's good because I think they're severely incompetent on how to do that. Junior says, hey, bro. What's up, Junior? JK says, deter all instant gratification. I agree. Jack D says, you got hammered on taxes with short-term trades. Hold it for a year. Add that to the profits. Yeah, I mean, I would have to agree, right? So short-term trading, you're going to run up a crazy tax bill. And another thing that you have to keep in mind is that if you look at the statistics and look at the data, the majority of the movements in the stock market do not happen during trading hours. It happens after hours. And that's due to a plethora of reasons. But it's mainly due to earnings reports. Right, so when earnings come out on particular stocks, the after-hours trading market is extremely illiquid. So you tend to have major, gap downs or gap ups in stocks. So if you're just buying and selling stocks every day and not holding on to them through earnings reports, you're never going to get that capital appreciation that you want. This is why securities analysis is extremely important. Securities analysis is extremely important to be able to understand the fundamentals of a company and being able to sit in a stock that keeps beating and raising its quarterly earnings expectations. But that's just my 2 cents. I see Cosmo Scary here. What's up, Cosmo? Good to see you. JK says, I should trade after hours, but I'm exhausted, says JK. EBITDA says, always look for the big C's when investing, compounding and carried interest. That is how money is made, says EBITDA. Always providing a good perspective. I would agree with that, EBITDA. And then EBITDA says, I just realized my losses for the year to help offset my gains. I have about $300,000 due in taxes in April. Going to pull that into a bull spread on the S&P to capture some money before I have to pay Big Brother, quote unquote, the government. EBITDA, great strategy, and congrats on your gains. We always hate to pay the government. The tax bills are a pain. Tax bills are a pain. Amir, what's going on, Amir? I see you in the chat. Lady O, Disney cast member says Miami. The Mighty Bull says rich get richer. The Porsche homeless. Nat says the UK had just had an earthquake. Really? I did not know that. Hopefully everybody is okay. Site B Studios says good evening. Bigga Dior says Sunny Isles. Yeah, this is Sunny Isles Beach, Florida. Sunny Isles Beach, Florida. Obama says I was put in the chat last week. Original Official says you're right, Tom. Those are all big players on Wall Street, but what about the biggest investor of all time, Gordon G? So funny. Hey, Crossed 1452 says Tommy, can you hear me? I can hear you loud and clear, my friend. Out and About says you were on early tonight. So Out and About is our pal from Toronto, Canada. Good to see you, Out and About. Hope you're well. Hope you're well, the Swan. But yes, everybody, Zillow is in a bad loss, huge loss. I think they lost about $500 million on 7,000 homes that they were trying to buy, sell, and flip. And what they didn't take into an account is, you know, when you buy and sell a house, there's so many different fees that go into buying a house, right? Zillow was under the impression, and which is so bizarre to me. I mean, if you're an executive at a company, you don't know this? Like, come on, how ridiculous is that? Think about it like this. Zillow is trying to buy a house for like $400,000 and then flip it for $420,000, right? There's no margin in that by the time you pay the real estate, by the time you pay the broker's fee, the agent fee, the listing agent, the seller, like all these different fees. By the time you pay the transfer taxes, there's no margin in that. It's crazy. So I'm glad Zillow got burned in a way, because they were buying 7,000 homes, juicing this market. So I'm glad they got burned. You know, that's what free markets are for. If you speculate and you get over exuberant, you're going to get hammered. So I'm glad Zillow is going to take one on the chin. But probably, and so a lot of people, so I got an interesting email. About Zillow, and this one guy was like, well, you know, now we'll get to buy these houses for super cheap. I don't think that's what's going to happen. This is probably going to be securitized and sold off to another big Wall Street firm, right? They're probably going to sell these homes in a package deal for probably like 80 cents on the dollar, not to individual investors. These are going to be sold as a package deal to Wall Street, in my eyes. I could be wrong, but that's just, you know, my opinion. So you'll probably never see these homes on the open market. JK says taper news had little effect next to Lang, the boom to the markets. Yeah, I think that the markets just want to know that the easy money will stay free flowing. EBITDA says Zillow got greedy and honestly was mismanaged. Yeah, Zillow is going to take a $500 million write down. Zillow is, which is good. I'm glad. By trying to buy up all the houses, they were doing it on EBITDA, exactly. They were doing it on razor thin margins and going for a volume play. They didn't factor in expenses and fees, and they got wrecked. I'm glad they did. Look, that's what free markets are for. If you want to speculate, you're going to get clocked. And Zillow got clocked. Sabrina Fair says, Tom, hi, how are you, Sabrina Fair? Hope you're well. Ron says, hey, Tom, thanks for the stream and a big thumbs up. Thank you, Ron. I appreciate you being here. Disney cast member says, Wall Street skate bro, found a town. I live 3-hour drive to George Washington Bridge. So excited to move out of Arizona. Disney cast member, congratulations. That's phenomenal. Hopefully we'll be seeing you back in New York City way more often than usual. Sabrina Ferris says, hi Tom, good to be back in Miami. The best of both worlds indeed. Cosmo Scary, good to have you here. Turkle says, what the Zillow closing flipping news was about the lost write-down. No way could you lose money over the last year in residential housing. It would have been due to fraud unless there's more to the story. Yeah, so Turkle, so the thing is, Zillow was buying these houses for cash, right? It's called iBuyers. So essentially, if you're selling your home, you could go to Zillow and say, well, I'll just sell it to Zillow, get an all cash offer, and then Zillow will then go ahead and maybe fix it up and then sell it to somebody else. Does that sort of make sense? So they were trying to sell it for $20,000, $30,000 more. But if you understood the real estate market, you can't really flip a house for $20,000 to $30,000 more because there's so many variables that go into the sale of a house. You got to pay the commissions, you have to pay the transfer taxes, a ton of stuff. There's a ton of garbage. I mean, I just got done buying a house and my closing costs were $20 grand, right? Although the way I structured the deal was that the seller paid my closing costs because of, some imperfections with the property. But in most cases, if you're buying a house, you're going to pay anywhere from $15,000 to $20 grand in closing costs if you're buying a $350,000 to $400,000 house. So that's the show. Anonymous Dude 123, how are you? JK says, did you know pineapples grow from the ground? I did know that. I learned that from you, JK. Just kidding. British Grace says, at Tom, Zillow lost some housing market and the stock went down. Yes, indeed they did. Indeed they did. Murky says, damn expensive closing costs. I think that's pretty standard. I mean, if you're buying a $450,000 to, let's say, a $500,000 house, you're probably going to spend 14 to 20 grand in closing costs. Eddie says the palm trees looks very cool, says Eddie. Prince Charming is here, says, hi Tom, I love Miami. Thank you for being here, Prince Charming. Bidzita Lopez, how are you? Good to see you. Bidzita Lopez says, good evening, nice view. Good to see you, Bidzita. Hope you're having a great week. Already halfway through the week. Disney cast member says, that was my last attempt at that message. No problem. Lisa says, on YouTube, you can watch a live camera on a coral reef in Miami called Coral City. I actually did check that out. JK says, Disney stock is taking a hit down, says JK. Mark Davis says, Tom, what are your thoughts on Elon Musk and Tesla as a business entity? Heard his net worth is almost $300 billion. Yeah, so so Elon Musk is the richest man in the world, but adjusted for inflation, I still don't think he's the richest man ever. I think if you do the adjustments for inflation, I still think, what was I going to say? I still think somebody else has him beat, adjusted for inflation. So this is the city of Sunny Isles Beach, the government center. Yes, Cosmo, I believe Rockefeller does have him beat, adjusted for inflation. Checkers is second richest behind Rockefeller, you're right. Anonymous Dude says, Miami or New York to live, Tom, what are your thoughts? Both. I would choose both. Oil Wealth says, is a waterfront condo in Miami a good investment now? Probably not. I mean, all the people who live in these apartments just use them as second residences. I mean, I think there comes a point when you have so much wealth. I mean, the majority of people that I see here in Sunny Isles tend to be either Russian or Ukrainian, and they seem to be pretty wealthy. So I think it's just a place for them to park their money. Sunshine After Rain is beautiful. Sabrina Ferris is the Rockefellers. JK says, so clean there. Yeah, that's one thing about Miami. It's extremely clean. Lockjaw is here. Love that name. Lockjaw says, welcome to Miami, bro. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for saying that. Obama says, think what Howard Hughes would be worth, says Obama. I think these palm trees are my favorite. I just love the color of the top of them. I read that Musk will help solve world hunger with his money. A few caveats, but I hope it comes through. Yeah, I mean, you had a couple of shills on Twitter from I think it was the World Health Organization or something, saying that, you know, Elon Musk is worth $300 billion. If he just donated $6 billion, he could end world hunger. So Elon Musk put him in his place. He's like, all right, pal, if you can show me a detailed synopsis of how $6 billion would, you know, end world hunger, I'll write you a check right now. And then, of course, we heard crickets. We heard crickets, because you know it's not true. It's all BS. But I'm glad Elon Musk called him out on it. Original official says, why aren't any trees like that in New York City? Mainly due to the climate. Different climate. Sunny Isles Beach Government Center here, everybody. Hey, Scotty says, hey, Skate Bro, you sure get around. Where is your home base? My home base, well, now is in Miami. I did buy, I just bought a property in Miami, but I will be back and forth between Miami and New York City. Anonymous dude says, what attribute do you admire the most about Elon Musk? Probably his just unbelievable work ethic. I mean, it's just insanity the amount this guy works. N for me says, I'm digging the Florida stream. Nice little change up. Thank you, N for me. I appreciate you. Chuck says, looks beautiful down there. It really, really is beautiful down here. So this is Sunny Isles Beach. We usually stream from downtown Miami, but this is actually closer to my house, so I didn't have time to get down to downtown Miami tonight. Ireva says, what is the minimum amount of years to keep stocks before selling? Ireva, you can buy and sell stocks intraday if you want, but for me, you know, the majority of my investments tend to be extremely, extremely long term. So I have in one of my accounts, which is like a retirement account, so it's like a tax deferred account. I have just been dollar cost averaging into an index fund that tracks the S&P 500. I've been doing that since I was like 16 years old. And in that account, I'll probably never sell that, even when I'm 80 years old, because what I can do when I'm older is I could probably just use that capital as collateral and borrow against the money in the account. You see what I mean? Just to mitigate those taxes a little bit more. So let's say when I'm 65 and I have a couple $1,000,000 in the account, I could either just live off the dividend income or just borrow against the equities in the account and use it as collateral. So like collateralize the account, if that makes sense. But then I have my regular taxable brokerage account, which I run a long short portfolio in, and I use Interactive Brokers, but there's really no time frame that you're required to hold a specific stock. But for me, what I would say is I tend to hold stocks anywhere between 12 to 16 months. That is sort of what I do. Vincent says, you sound like Miami accent, but you are a New Yorker. Very interesting. Very cool. Anonymous dude says, fund that tracks the S&P 500. What is up, Anonymous dude? EBITDA says, Musk has the greatest work ethic of all time. Check out interviews from his co-workers about it. It's comical for them to say $6 billion would solve world hunger. It would be gone. True, i.e. Gates. Yeah, so EBITDA, I agree with you. It's ridiculous, but it's all a way to posterize, you know, billionaires and make them out to be these big, bad, evil human beings. When, in my opinion, I mean, look, I'm glad Elon Musk said that. He said, look, if you can show me a clear, defined plan that $6 billion will solve world hunger, I'll sell my Tesla stock today and give you $6 billion. Of course, we never heard anything back because it's a dog and pony show. That's all they want to do is just, I mean, my opinion of the media, that's all they want to do is just to keep the dog and pony show going. They want us to be divided. They want us to fight over each other. So I just really wouldn't pay any attention to these politician oligarchs, in my opinion. Sabrina Fair says Elon finally will get us to the moon. I think he's going to get us to Mars too. So hopefully by the time I'm 65, we'll be doing a stream on Mars. That would be pretty cool. Elon Musk was born in South Africa. I agree. Disney cast member says there is no such thing as a Miami accent. Sunnyside says Porsche design tower coming up. Walk faster. Oh yeah, so which one is that? So I think the Porsche tower is somewhere up here, but I'm not sure which building it is. So maybe if somebody could just do a quick Google search, because I want to see that too. I definitely want to see that. Hey, Checkers X says LOL, love it, Tom. What's up, Checkers X? Good to see you here. Original Official says Wall Street skate, bro. You're 65. Well, I thought you were like 30. No, I'm 26 years old. So I said when I'm 65, hopefully we'll be doing a stream from Mars. Original Official, good to see you here. Kevin Sunderland says just do it. Turkle says I think Musk is flying so close to the sun now that he's either going to go out with a bang or become the world emperor. Hilarious. Retro says, yo, what's up, Retro? Good to see you here. Good to see you. Kevin Sunderland says, but hunger is an empirical fact. It's not meta. Why ask for proof? Just do it. Well, I think you have to... I think the point I'm getting at is, let's say if Elon Musk writes a check for $6 billion to quote unquote solve world hunger, all of these organizations are just going to squander that wealth. Because in my opinion, it's either they're going to steal the money or they're not going to be able to appropriate that capital in the appropriate way, or distribute that capital in the appropriate way. And money can't solve all problems. You cannot solve world hunger with money. And one of the reasons for that is because of systemic issues within global economies. So when you think about world hunger, you know, people think about it from an American perspective, where we have the infrastructure, we have a government that is, you know, relatively competent in comparison to everywhere in the world. So think about that. If the United States has a government that is less corrupt than pretty much every other country on the planet, what does that tell you about every other country? It's crazy. So if you just flooded the world with money and said, okay, here's $6 billion for some food, you're still not going to have a thriving economy for these people to get jobs, produce an economy. You have such an imbalance in education in this world that's only going to be exacerbated. You know, you go to some places in the Middle East or even some places in the United States, and these people are illiterate. They don't know how to read, they don't know how to write. So you cannot solve a global problem with money. It needs to be systemic change from the bottom up and build actual infrastructure. So that's my opinion. Kevin Sunderland says, totally agree. I think he and Amazon Logistics could do it. Would be PR gold. Imagine billionaires solving world hunger, not just writing checks. Yeah, I mean, I think it's more systemic an issue than it is the money, but I see where you're coming from. Ken Kramer says, wait until Neuralink goes public. Elon Musk will become much richer. Oh yeah, Neuralink is going to absolutely revolutionize the world. That's going to make Tesla a $5 trillion company. JK says, you can't solve hate with money. This is JK. I agree. Anonymous dude. Hey, Faith is here. What's up, Faith? Anonymous says, Tom, your vocabulary is refreshing. I can hear you talk all night, bro. Thank you, Anonymous dude. I could talk to you all night too. Scott Harris 1980 says, yes, banking structure does not have as many people working for it in other nations as the United States. And I think many countries you have a lot of people that are underbanked, right? So we can go to any street corner in America and walk into a bank. You know, these people don't have any sort of real infrastructure in their real world economies. Sunnyside says, circular black glasses Porsche design tower to the right. So this one, let's walk past it. Let's check it out. Obama, how are you? Amir says, corruption is the glue holding every system together, unfortunately. Vincent, can you go to Pensacola, Florida? Maybe. I don't know where that is, though. Joey says, any taper talk yet? Yeah, so we just talked about that a little bit on the stream. Essentially, Fed Chair Jerome Powell isn't really tapering. What they're doing is they're lowering the amount of minimum purchases, right? So it went from, we're going to do at a minimum 160 or 140 billion dollars of bonds to now 120 billion. So that doesn't necessarily mean that the Fed is going to be purchasing less assets. All they said on the call was that they're going to decrease the minimum. That's it. And Fed Chair Jerome Powell signaled to the market that there's no rush to raise interest rates at this point. So right after we had Fed Chairman Jerome Powell talking to the market went off to the races to new all-time record highs. Hey, Joyce says Miami looks different. What's up, Joyce? Hope you're well. Joey says, by the way, how are you tonight, Tom? I am doing extremely well. What about you, Joey? Disney cast member says Pensacola, Florida is in the panhandle. Anonymous dude says, this chat or Tom are raising my financial IQ, says anonymous dude. Audi R8 1996 is here. What is up, Audi R8 1996? Hope you're well. Hey, the Austin Tennis is Tom. Sorry to be a pest, but have you heard back from Mr. Okta regarding a referral link? I have not. I have not heard back yet. And I haven't been in contact with him because I've just been so crazy, and today was nuts. I've just been on back and forth on conference calls and dealing with some banking issues because I have a customer that's needs to wire us some money. And it's just been a mess tracking that down. So to be honest with you, dude, it hasn't even been on my mind, but I promise I'm going to get on it tomorrow. I'm going to set aside 1 hour and I'm going to hammer this guy and I'm going to call him and I'm going to say, you need to get moving on this. So I will do that tomorrow. I promise you. Obama says RIP Ronnie Wilson of the Gap band. Original official says, can palm trees be smoked? I'm not sure. Hey, Melee is here. What's up, Melee? Hope you're well. Zap Allen is here. How are you, Zap Allen? I just want to make sure I'm not missing anybody's comments here. Hey, War Walker says, good evening, Tom. Welcome back. Will you bring your dog to Miami? Probably not. Probably not. Maybe sometime they can come down and visit, but we'll see. The Austin Tennis is all good. Totally understand. Thanks for the help. I have some good news. I was referred to PagerDuty, and I'm interviewing with them next week. Dude, you're going to love PagerDuty. So PagerDuty is a phenomenal company. So Austin Tennis, if you have a Twitter account, look up this guy, Akram's Razor. He has significant investments in PagerDuty. They're like an emergency alerting response platform software. And that's a great company, PagerDuty. And that's the exact time where you want to apply to these companies. It's like a mid-cap. So they're not like a Goliath like Salesforce, right? So if you're a sales guy and you can really get it on at PagerDuty and close some big deals, I mean, you're going to make a fortune, and I mean a freaking fortune. So good for you, man. Happy about that. Kevin Sunderland says, have you found yourself a great coffee spot down there? Yes, Kevin, and thank you for the super chat, for the $5 super chat. Kevin, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. One of the good coffee spots down here is called The Alchemist. It's in North Miami Beach, and it is very good. It's called The Alchemist. Melee is here, says, thanks, Tom. What's up, Melee? Always good to see you on the chat. Zap Allen says, I was half asleep when I heard on the news a founding member of the Gap band died and my heart sunk. I thought they said Charlie Wilson at first. I'm not sure who that is. I feel terrible that I don't know who that is, but rest in peace. But yeah, PagerDuty, ticker symbol PD, very good company. I think you're gonna do very well there, Austin Tennis. Good luck on your interview. Original Official says, Wall Street Scape-Bro, what's the safest investment that is risk-free, like a CD or bond that has the highest yield payout? You're never gonna have a risk-free investment. There's no risk-free investments. There's no free lunch in this world, unfortunately. But the thing is, if you buy a bond, you have to think about the interest rate environment we're in. If you buy something that's yielding 2%, you're accepting a loss, right? Because if inflation is printing at 5 and you're only making a 2% return, you're essentially buying something that is guaranteed to lose you money, which is pretty crazy. So in real rates, these are actually negative yielding debt, which is bizarre, but that is the environment we are in, unfortunately. So I guess this is the Porsche Tower. Turkle says that is what the Fed will do, though. When they finally tighten, they'll downplay it to no end. Yeah. Warwalker says the old school musicians are slowly leaving us, unfortunately. The Austin Tennis says, where's all the pedestrian traffic? So here, usually after about 5:30, there's very little pedestrians on the street. It's only us, and everybody really drives in Florida. So you see a ton of cars. Nobody really walks. It's not a very walking-like city like New York. However, when we do some streams in downtown Miami, there's more pedestrians. Faith says, you are so lucky, Tom. Miami weather looks nice. Thank you, Faith. Disney cast member says, love Gap Band. Sunnyside Porsche Design Tower penthouse is insane. Multi-car garage elevator to the top. That is insane. So we'll walk past it. We'll take a look. We'll go over here. EBITDA, our pal EBITDA, Bank of America Merrill Lynch, says Original Official. What I am doing right now is using a bull spread. It is buying and selling contracts on the same asset without getting too deep. It allows you to create value while capping both up. Says EBITDA. So EBITDA is referring to a strategy in the options market. Very cool. All right, so we are here at Deezer Way, 185th Street. Jackie Jackson says, hey Tom, just curious, who influenced your decision to begin investing at such a young age? Your parents? No, my parents actually never invested money ever, unfortunately. I think I was just sort of wanted to seek out just like different opportunities. I was a very curious kid. So, my family is very blue collar. I don't come from a white collar family. So I think I just wanted something different. I knew there was a different way. Things had to be different. So Original Official said, since the big rise or fall may be looming. Silence says, hi everybody from Tokyo. Hey, welcome to all of our Japanese viewers. What is going on? Original Official says, and EBIT, it's a good idea to do near earnings. Jackie Jackson says, R.I.P. Ronnie Wilson of the Gap Band. I've never heard of that band ever in my life, the Gap Band, but definitely R.I.P. But I've never heard of the Gap Band ever. The Austin Tennis says, Tom, your parents did invest money. It was an investment into Tom Wall Street Scape-Bro, indeed. That is true. That is true. So I believe this is the Porsche Tower, Porsche Design Tower. Tony M says, America's Freedom, Florida. Hey, what's up, Tony M? Good to have you here. Silent, good to have you here. Original Official, War Walker. Ren 10 says, Tom, what's your goal? What's your goal with investing? Live well, retire early, or a mix of both? Well, long term, extremely long term, I want to manage like a charitable trust. So something similar to what Kramer did, sort of spun off his hedge fund into like a charitable trust. So you manage money and sort of like run a hedge fund, but it's in a trust for charitable contributions and things like that. And then just to borrow against the assets I have to grow my business. I think that's the most important thing to me. Hey, Rusty says, hey, looks so nice. So this is the Porsche design tower. Really crazy. Looks beautiful. Murky says, do you plan to open a charitable remainder trust? Charitable remainder trust. What, like a charitable trust? What do you mean? Joey says, Tom is a superstar. You're a superstar, Joey. Hey, Charlie Richardson is here. What is up, Charlie? Good to see you, my friend. JL says, hello, Mark. Good to see you. What's up, JL? Storm Chaser says, Tom, back at home listening. What's up, Storm Chaser? Tony M says, Miami looks beautiful. It is beautiful. Charlie Richardson, I hope you're well, my friend. Good to see you. Always good. Always a pleasure. So we are in Sunny Isles Beach, Florida, outside of the Porsche Tower, the big Porsche Tower. So we'll get a better look of it here. Tom, what is your office arrangements in Miami like? Right now I'm using a buddy's Wework space in downtown Miami. So I don't have to take on the added cost of getting Murky says, maybe check YouTube for charitable remainder trust when you are free. It's pretty interesting how you can cash out money tax-free and protect it at the same time. I'm definitely going to check that out. Definitely going to check that out. Maya says, Miami looks beautiful and lovely. War Walker says, how's the backyard renovations going? It's going. It's a little bit, it's a work in progress, but it's definitely going. Hey, Quant says, Tom, what you doing outside my penthouse? What is up, Quant? Quant, you gotta let us up. So I believe this is your building right here. Maybe that's your apartment right there at the top. You gotta let us in. Joyce Carter says, WeWork revolutionary work experience. Yeah, so WeWork had actually just went public via SPAC, or Special Purpose Acquisition Company, and we actually dedicated an entire stream to WeWork. So WeWork was one of the biggest failures of an IPO, mainly due to the former CEO, Adam Neumann. Adam Neumann was horrible, and he essentially scammed Masa-san in the SoftBank group. But now I think it's in better hands with Marcelo. The Austin Tennis says, WeWork spaces look amazing. I wish I had the opportunity to work in one, maybe one day. I definitely, I would check it out. I think nowadays it's probably going to be way more popular than in the past, because a lot of companies are not looking to sign long-term leases. But it's a good startup environment. It's a good place to network. I think I just saw the elevator go up here. EBITDA says, Wall Street Scapegoat, also donor advisor funds can be really efficient. Trusts are quite complicated, and it really depends on what you have, what you are trying to achieve. I'm going to screenshot that, EBITDA. Definitely going to screenshot that. Sunnyside said, thanks for showing off my retirement condo at Porsche Condominiums. Hey, Sunnyside, thank you for the $25 super chat. I really do appreciate all of the support. Thank you so much. Yeah, EBITDA. So I was actually going to ask you, EBITDA. So I'm looking to maybe in the next 3 to 5 years. Well, first and foremost, I want to get the company off the ground. My company off the ground, which, this year is actually, it could wrap up to be a pretty decent year, first year in business. Assuming we close this deal and we get paid, which looks like I am going to do. But I'm looking to raise money to start a hedge fund. So I wanted some guidance from you as the best way to structure that, and if you would recommend a specific prime broker to use. So I want to raise about $10 million for a hedge fund, but I want to put about $500,000 of my own in it. So I'm talking to my buddy that runs Roble Capital Management, but I really want to do that in about maybe 5 years, just because I have 3 years of a proven track record and experience. So I could, take that around. But I have like 4 or 5 people that I have in mind to pitch that own tech companies here in the US. But I think just where I'm going to get stumped is the structure of that. So maybe if you can help out or provide some insight if you want. EBITDA says donor advised fund. I'm going to check it out. EBITDA says Wall Street Scaperow. That was a follow-up to my earlier post. Check out part 1 first. Let me check it out. Action Kid says, are there a lot of public beach access points at Sunny Isles Beach, or is it mostly privately owned? Action Kid, what is up, man? Good to see you. Yes, usually every 3rd block you'll have a public beach access point, and the beach is beautiful. Sunny Isles Beach, in my opinion, is one of the most beautiful beaches north of North Beach. So very, very nice. So let me go to EBITDA's. EBITDA's is original official. I use Bank of America Merrill Lynch because it is who I work for. If I didn't, I would probably use Interactive Brokers. That is who I use. EBITDA, I'm probably gonna have to go back and check what you said. I'll go back and check the comments. Hey, I see me here. It says Porsche Design Tower to the right in front of you. A new Porsche with each purchase. That is insane. So we'll check out. So this is the Porsche Design Tower right here. So they really give you a Porsche every time you purchase an apartment. That's wild. And here's a pretty nice palm tree. Disney cast member says Airbnb just announced you can rent the Carrie Bradshaw apartment for $23 a night. Biggest is I don't recommend that restaurant on the right. I'll keep that in mind. I definitely won't go there. EBITDA says here it is. CRUT can be good, but not always the best choice. It really depends on your situation and what you are trying to do with the trust. It depends on that. Salts are sometimes much better. Let me take a screenshot of that. Bear with me, everybody. Screenshot. Action Kid says that's good that the beaches aren't restricted. It's restricted in places in Long Island like the Hamptons. Yeah, so Action Kid, I am from Long Island, so a lot of the beaches, they'll actually make you pay like an extreme amount of money. So for example, Toe Bay Beach, if you're not a resident of Oyster Bay, the town of Oyster Bay, I think they make you pay like $50 just to go on the beach. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. But Action Kid, good to see you. We were just talking about the Federal Reserve. So the stock market's hit all-time record highs. EBITDA says Wall Street Scaperow, let's start a fund. What kind of fund are you looking to do? Quant, long, short, impact, etc. So I am a Can Slim style investor. So I strictly stick to all Can Slim style, which is essentially, if you've ever read any of like William J. O'Neill's work, IBD, Investors Business Daily, Market Smith, that's sort of my style. So like growth tech and growth stock investing. But yeah, obviously it'd be one long short. And I think I want to make the fee structure a little less egregious. So I probably don't want to do the 2 and 20, but I think the main thing that is probably going to be a little bit of a pain is just structuring it. Because, from my understanding, if you want to start a hedge fund, you have to have an offshore, sort of like an account for accounting purposes. So you have to have like an onshore location, offshore, usually in like the Cayman. Hey, Jimmy Anderson, I see you. What's up, Jimmy Anderson? Let's see. EBITDA says you will want to check around unless you know someone regarding your prime broker. It really depends on your capital size, etc. When it comes to a raise, there are many different ways a fund can fund you. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I can probably get like 3 million. I could probably raise 3. But if I can only raise 3 million, I might as well just grow my own personal account and just do it myself. But a lot of my buddies recommend Jefferies as their prime broker. So like one of my good buddies uses Jefferies. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Maybe in let's say 5 years time, I want to do that, but I just don't want to put too much on my plate right now. But that's definitely the goal. I want to do that. I really, really want to do that. EBITDA says, or there's always a loan. You will want something set up in Cayman, Luxembourg, etc. for onshore, offshore purposes. Would you be set up in Miami? Yeah, so EBITDA, we would probably be located in Miami or like Palm Beach for tax reasons. EBITDA says, Jefferies is a great firm, great company with great people. Yeah, so my buddy, Jim Ropel, he's fantastic. He uses Jefferies as their prime broker. But the goal is I want to get my company, my consulting company off the ground, hire a couple people, and then hire a true CEO to run the place. Right? Like hire a true CEO to run the place. It'll be sort of running. I'll be on the back burners, and then I want to, grow a fund and then roll it into a trust or whatever. I'm not too sure yet. I don't know. I really have to figure it out. Merkel says, is Palm Beach better than Miami for taxes? I think it's probably about the same. Oh, speaking of taxes, everybody. Speaking of Miami, I believe Mayor Suarez was actually just reelected in a windfall landslide victory. Austin Tennis says, Tom, you are a true CEO. Not even close. Not even close, man. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said about, hiring like a true CEO, like a true CEO that has like real business acumen. There's a lot to be said for that. EBITDA says, are you going to go for a new CEO or a name that everyone knows, like a famous CEO? Well, for my tech consulting company, it's probably just going to be like somebody I know really, really well that was the founder of one of the largest MSPs in the country. So like one of my buddies who helped me out starting my own thing, he owns a very large MSP in the United States, managed service provider. So I would probably want to bring him on. But this is probably years down the line, right? I want to, but thinking 5-10 years out, that's sort of what I want to do. It's very hard to grow a business if you're just a one-man shop. I mean, you could grow to maybe $3 to $5 million in revenue, but after that, you really need to start offloading some things. Yeah. So for example, like at Barstool, I believe, and I just saw it in the chat. Erica Nardini, I believe, is the CEO. Portnoy, he's the founder of Barstool, but he's not the CEO, right? Just because you're a founder of the company doesn't mean you can run it the best, and that's actually oftentimes the case. Not in every circumstance, but a lot. EBITDA says huge election just ended in Virginia. The ex-CEO of Carlyle Group just won the governor. Did he really? No way. First Republican in like 14 years. Jeez. I did not know that, EBITDA. Yeah, so EBITDA, I think I probably should start paying attention to politics a little bit more, but it just aggravates me so much and it's so depressing, politics. But I think I need to start being a little bit more responsible with that. But that's crazy. That's really crazy. Hey, Gerald Lee says, Tom, are you the chairman of the board, aka Frank Sinatra back in the day? What is up, Gerald Lee? Good to see you. Marzon says, good evening from Bridgehampton, New York. I hope you get down to Key West soon. We definitely will. Marzon Worldwide, Bridgehampton, New York is phenomenal. Bowser. What is up, Bowser? Good to see you. Jackie Jackson says, jeez. Jackie Jackson says, Tom, you're destined for greatness. So are you. Thank you, Jackie Jackson. Jimmy Anderson. What is going on, Jimmy Anderson? Good to see you. I'm just trying to make sure I didn't miss anybody's comments. British Grace says, I live in Tampa, Florida, but I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. Phenomenal. What part of Brooklyn? Even this says gunshot. No, they always make the car exhausts go crazy. The car exhaust. So we could see, this is the Porsche Tower. We're gonna have a good look at it here. So we really can't see it on the stream because the building is all black and it's dark out. But maybe another time on the stream we could come back and we could see it better lit up in the sunset, perhaps. Hey, Jimmy Anderson says, Tom, your channel has introduced me to a bunch of new cool people. Thanks, man. Continue the good work. No problem, Jimmy. Always very happy to have you here. Faith says, EBITDA is very knowledgeable. Oh, extremely knowledgeable. I always enjoy having EBITDA on the chat. He always brings in a good perspective, and we all learn a lot from him. Well, EBITDA has a lot of experience. There's a lot to be said networking with people who have more experience and more expertise in fields than you do. EBITDA currently actually works on Wall Street for Bank of America Merrill Lynch. Omar says, I love the sound of the car exhaust. Omar, I hate that sound, man. That's sort of why I like electric vehicles, because they're so quiet. EVs are so quiet, it's insane. Santo A says, looks like a beautiful night. How's the weather? The weather is fantastic. Hey, Cecilia Thomas is here. What is up, Cecilia? Always good to see you. Always good to see you, Cecilia. Hope you're well. Sabrina Fair says, Tom, are you a Wes Anderson fan? I'm not sure who that is. The Austin Tennis says, have you found the Miami version of Becca yet? So Austin Tennis, I haven't even really been eating out much. The only places I've been eating out are very local, like Cuban cuisine, which is also extremely, extremely good. But I haven't really been to any good Italian spots. Yet. Cecilia Thomas says, how's your day going? Cecilia, my day is going very well. I have a busy day coming up tomorrow. I have to go down to the Brickell, which is Miami's financial district. Sir Visace says, Tom, great that you share your pursuits with us. Appreciate it. We got a pretty cool American flag here. Hey, Cherry Groove is here. What's up, NYC Cherry Groove? Good to see you. Happy Wednesday, Cherry Groove. Maya says, do you cook for yourself, Tom? So I have a very nice kitchen in the house. that I'm afraid I'm not going to put it to good use, because I went to Walmart. I live very close to a Walmart. I walked to a Walmart and I picked up a barbecue grill. So I think I'm going to be grilling almost every day. Just because in New York, in the city, it's like impossible. It's like illegal to barbecue outside. I guess for good reason. EBITDA says Wall Street Skate Bro, we'll have to meet up next time I'm in the city. 100%. EBITDA, shoot me an email. If you're in Miami or New York, let me know. For sure. Faith says, Tom, you should have a fun for your kiddie skates. We definitely will. That's in the works. Sabrina says, Wes Anderson, oh, you don't know who he is? Oh, the humanity. George Lopez says, Tom, have you tried Cuban tamales? It's a must. I have not, but I will. Sunnyside says, Cuban sandwich is the best. Pre and post hangover cure. Action Kid, what's up, Action Kid? Says, oh wow, check out Mary Brickell Village while you're there. Super cool place. I'm gonna check it out. So Action Kid, I have not been able to explore many places here yet. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But the majority of my time spent is going to be downtown in the Brickell, because that is where the Wework building is, and the majority of the tech startups that I work with. Hey, Cool Aunt 516. Hey, Long Island area code. Says, grew up on South Shore, Long Island. So did I. Massapequa. Massapequa is a great little town. EBITDA says, Wall Street Skate Bro, also let me know when you are actually trying to get things going with your fund. I can put you in touch with the best at BAML. Definitely. Appreciate that, EBITDA. I just feel like they would not take me seriously if I don't have the money raised and ready. But I'm going to put like 500,000 of my own in it. Hopefully that time $1 million, but we'll see. Lisa says, any iguanas in your yard, don't leave food out for them. So I have to do something about the iguanas. The iguanas are insane by my house. There's so many iguanas. I think I have to buy some sort of spray to deter them from coming to my house. Sunnyside says, one up. Lucas says, hey Tom, greetings from Germany. Welcome to all of our friends from Germany. Welcome everybody. Amir says, Ed, it's the only way around. Joey David says, hello from Toronto, Canada. What's up everybody from Toronto? Sinister A says, did you move from New York City to Florida? We did. We did. Maya says, yes, same New York where I live. I can't make barbecue grill. So good outside for Miami. Marzan says, it's apparent you like to walk. Have you heard of the channel Walking Commuter? Yes, I have. I have heard of the channel Walking Commuter. Walking Commuter is a great guy. So at first I was getting a lot of people messaging me, asking me if I was Walking Commuter. They were like, hey, are you Walking Commuter? Because for those of you who have been on the channel a long time, we actually, the majority of the time, we're actually on a skateboard. So we tend to skateboard around New York City, but ever since I've been moving, it's just, I haven't had the board, and I've been in business meetings, so it's been very difficult for us to stream from the skateboard, which it will be back. Just bear with me. We will have the skateboard back in due time. Hey, Alice is here. What's up, Alice? Good to see you. Omar says, could you show us the Porsche design in front of you? Yeah, we just saw it. So this is the Porsche design tower right here. So this is for you, Omar. Porsche design tower is right here. Austin Tennis says, have you broken the new board yet? Not yet. I haven't had any time for skateboarding. I've just been so busy with work and moving. It's been nuts. EBITDA says, Wall Street Skate Bro, had a crazy thing happen today. I was on a call with Hank Paulson for like an hour today, starstruck. It was in regards to his TPG raise fund. All environmental social governance private equity fund. Check it out. Let me take a screenshot of that. EBITDA, that's freaking awesome, man. That's awesome, man. I am gonna check that out. Yeah, it seems like the new buzzword on the street, and a lot of people think it's all BS, but environmental and social governance, ESG, but you know, it is growing more increasingly important, and you know, it doesn't matter if you think it's BS or not. That's where the money is flowing. So a lot of these companies, if they do not have a very good environmental or social governance score, they're not going to attract a lot of capital. Sinister A says, we are also tired of New York City and heading down south to the sunshine state of Florida. New York City is slowly dying. I don't know if I'd say that. I mean, I don't think New York City is dying. I'm very optimistic about New York City. I just moved down here for, you know, tax reasons, and to network. I have a big, strong network in New York. Now it's time to develop a network in another big city. Anonymous dude says, would you ever try surfing or snowboarding? Dangerous hobbies, but amazing. I would never try snowboarding, but surfing, yes, and I'm not very good at snowboard. I'm not very good at surfing. Hey, Ed, Dunkel is here, says Paulson has a fund. Indeed he does. The Austin tennis says, I guess Tom is now Wall Street Walk Bro. Very funny. Sally says, beautiful view, Tom. Thank you, Sally. I'm glad you're here. Anonymous dude is from Canada. Very cool. Sabrina, good to see you. Joyce. Good to see you, Joyce. EBITDA says they hired an analytical company to make sure the fund / underlying companies are actually getting the right scores and efficient. Most other funds have no accountability. Sad truth. Very interesting. Kim Grant says hi. What's up, Kim? So I think the stock with the highest ESG score, like that's a tech stock, is actually Microsoft, I believe. I think last week I think it was either Investors Business Daily or Barron's, they did an entire op-ed piece, or a write-up, I should say, about the top ESG stocks, or environmental social governance, the top stocks with the highest ESG scores. Marzan is on the subject of skateboarding. Sabrina Fair says, Tom, you are so diplomatic. What a sweetie, says Sabrina Fair. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Zap Balance says, New York City is the best city in the world. I agree 100%. Hey, William Wilson is here. What's up, William Wilson? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Happy Wednesday. Oh my God, check this out. So regular gas, check this out. For a tank of gas, well, not a tank, a gallon of gas is $4.19. That is insane. That's insane. Wow. $4.19 for a gallon of gas. That's a ripoff. But it's transitory. They should put a little sign right under there. Be like $4.19, but it's transitory. Yeah, Lady O, isn't that crazy? What is it in New Jersey? Lady O, what is the price of gas in New Jersey? Photos from around New York says, nah, that is just because it's Miami. Oh, okay. Murky says, I think it's only mobile. I bought gas earlier today for $3.19. Wow. Charlie says, oh my God, gas in Fort Lauderdale is only $3.30. Lucas says, hey Tom, I like to say I have very difficult days behind me. It's good to watch you again. I know not much craziness. Lucas, that's awesome, man. Congratulations. Kevin says, here in Los Angeles, we are pushing or exceeding $5. My Tesla is turning into a beast investment, the best investment of my life. Kevin, that's awesome. Sabrina Fair says petrol over here in San Diego is $5 a gallon. That's crazy. That's insane. That is just insane. Yeah, some places I think people were telling me that it's almost $6 a gallon for a gallon of gas. Hey, Wall on the Run says, cry me a river. I paid $4.99 with cash. North Carolina today. Jeez. Wall on the Run. God bless you. Oh, yeah, that's true. So, Lady O, anytime you go to a gas station in New Jersey, I think they pump it for you. I think they pump the gas for you. Very cool. Me says gasoline is $3.19 in Gainesville, Florida, home of the University of Florida, says me. Very cool. Jackie Jackson says I got premium gas in Maryland for $4.29. Lisa says lemon juice will keep the iguanas away. I think I'm just gonna buy the thing in Home Depot, like the spray. Hey William, how are you? So everybody, my phone is gonna die, but in conclusion, today we just did a little bit of a recap on Jerome Powell, what he said today, the Federal Reserve. Essentially, the only thing that has changed is the minimum amount of purchases that the Federal Reserve is making. It used to be $140 billion. That was broken down, $100 billion of treasuries, $40 billion in mortgage-backed securities. Now they're taking it down to 120. So that's at a minimum. So they're really not tapering, and the market loved that, right? So if you look at the S&P, the Dow, and the NASDAQ, they were all down across the board today. However, after Fed Chair Jerome Powell started talking, the markets went gangbusters off to the races, new, fresh, all-time record highs. The market needs to be reassured that the heroin is going to keep being injected into the veins of this equities market and housing market. And the easy money is going to keep going. The show is going to go on. I don't agree with it, but that's the environment we're in. And Fed Chair Jerome Powell also said that we are in no rush to raise interest rates. So Jerome Powell is not going to raise rates anytime soon, and they're still going to buy, at a minimum, $120 billion worth of assets per month. So the markets needed to be reassured that the easy money is going to keep flowing. Stocks hit new all-time record highs. No surprise there. No surprise. Lisa says, wow, just looked up Florida iguana problems. It's crazy. Yeah, the iguanas could eat right through the concrete. It's crazy. EBITDA says, also, Tom, if you and your wife have money, I would definitely look into salts or slats, excuse me. Especially given that they are trying to change everything. The sooner you check it out, the better. Wall Street Scaper, let me take a screenshot of that. Anonymous dude says, thank you for raising my financial IQ. But EBITDA, thank you for this. I'm gonna take screenshots of everything you're saying. Charlie says, just bought Common Stocks and Uncommon Profits yesterday. Yes, so Charlie, Common Stocks and Uncommon Profits, a very good book. It's by Phil Fisher. So Phil Fisher was the founder of Fisher Investments. His son actually took over the company now. But Common Stocks and Uncommon Profits, it's probably the greatest, or one of the greatest books on investing of all time. This looks like a really nice restaurant right here. And so at one of the Berkshire Hathaway conferences, somebody had asked Warren Buffett, they said, you know, besides you, who would you really listen to or pay attention to in regards to investing? And he really couldn't name anybody. He really couldn't mention anybody. But he said, if I absolutely had to, it would probably be number one, Phil Fisher, and then number two, maybe Seth Klarman. And we talk a lot about Seth Klarman on the channel. And Seth Klarman wrote a book called, and you can't really get them anymore either. I think there was only 2,000 copies ever in print. but it's called the margin of safety. So Seth Klarman's margin of safety. Victor Lopez says it's a shame so many men walking around outside with their women on the outside. Is chivalry dead? So many men walking around with the women on the outside. Oh, are you talking about... Oh, I see what you mean. So like they have the woman on the street side. Yeah, the guy, I think the guy is supposed to walk closest to the street. So if they ever get, run over by a car, the guy will get clocked first. Realty by Lance says, Tom, welcome back, sir. Thank you so much, Realty by Lance. We are here at the Sunny Isles Beach Government Center. Disney cast member says, ha, Publix Maryland fried chicken is the best in Florida. Shadow King says, do you think we'll be green tomorrow? Well, I think futures are green now, aren't they? Charlie says, try Publix sandwich and chicken wing and cheesecake. I definitely will. I mean, this is a very nice city hall right here. Very, very beautiful. Everything is so clean. That's one of the things I've noticed about Florida so far, is that everything is so clean. I don't know how they keep it so clean. But Realty by Lance, thank you so much. I'm just trying to make sure. William Wilson says gas is $3.19 here in Orleans, New York. Hey, Joel NC says, hey Tom, good to see you in Miami. Thank you, Joel. Hope you're well. Ken Glass, how are you? Good to see you, Ken Glass. Hey, Jerome with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Everybody that's been supporting the channel, I appreciate it. So everybody, my phone is going to die, but thank you for that $5 super chat. Much appreciated. You guys are way too kind, way too nice to me. Ooh. No skateboarding, rollerblading, scooter riding, or Segway riding. So everybody, if you've noticed, the Behind the Street newsletter is not up yet because it is too long. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to post it tomorrow, broken up into 2 segments, which I really don't want to do because I want people to read it in order, or I'm probably going to edit the document and try to make it smaller, in which case I will publish it. But I think on a go-forward basis, I'm going to create either a little website or a Medium page where I could post the articles, where I could elaborate a little bit more on my thoughts. So that will be up very soon, and I apologize for the delay. Lady O says, wait, no skateboarding. Hey, Photos from Around New York is here. What's up, Photos from Around New York? Good to see you. Lisa says, Miami looks awesome. Have a great night. Thank you, Lisa. The Swan, thank you for being here from Ireland. Or Walker says, that's right. Lady O says, I bet there's a nice pool inside that hotel. Maybe one day we could peek inside the lobby. We definitely will. Jabron says, hey man, I always have your streams on in the background when I'm studying. It's very calming. Also, do you think now is a good time to sell Ethereum? Got in at $10 for a good amount of them. Well, if you got in at $10, you're probably, a multi-millionaire now. So, I mean, it just really depends on if you want to preserve that wealth. And I think now you probably want to, have a tax mitigation strategy, in which case I would probably talk to a CPA. Because if you bought Ethereum at $10, you're probably worth a couple million bucks. So what I would do, me personally, I think Ethereum's going a lot higher. It just broke out of a pretty big base. I think Ethereum and Bitcoin are going much higher, markedly higher in my case. But what I would do is, if you have a couple $1 million in Ethereum, I would try to, at first I would consult with the CPA on a tax strategy, number one. And number two, I would try to use that as collateral to leverage or borrow against. And then I would go buy like a real asset that produces income for me. So if you're a college kid now, you probably need a place to stay. So I would look into maybe like a duplex or something where, you could leverage against your holdings and put the money down on the house and then get some tenants to subsidize your cost of living. So at least you have a place to live that is totally subsidized by the tenant. So that's probably what I would do, but I cannot advise on tax strategies just because I'm not an accountant and I'm not a CPA. A different takes is once you go across the intercoastal to the beach, it is a lot different. It's expensive but nice. Yeah, a different take. So we are on the water right now. Like probably 15 yards this way is the ocean. This is Sunny Isles Beach. Very nice. Renee says, hey y'all, what's going on, Renee? EBITDA is definitely sell enough to break even plus a lot more. I would keep a lot as it will go up for sure. As Tom said, check with your CPA, but sell and put into equities to diversify. You can borrow against. I agree. Yeah, I think the number one thing you always want to have, I think once you exceed your net worth, I'd say above $500,000, you have to get a really good CPA on your side because it's difficult to do it all by yourself. You can't do it by yourself. So you got to get a good CPA, someone that you can trust, and develop sort of like, I wouldn't say estate planning, but just, try to preserve the wealth you have because that's significant. But, even $500,000 is a significant amount of money. Realty by Lance is so Tom, do you have any good news for us about your startup? We're excited. So we closed a very interesting deal. My phone is about to die. It's on 3%. With a digital advertising company. So we're going to roll that out. The Wire, they wired us a bunch of money for us to custom build their, we're going to build a Cat 6 router for them. And then we are going to work with one of their other companies that actually procures and makes the digital advertising screens, in which case we'll be able to white label data packets to run these digital advertising